Well, good morning and welcome to Sweden. My first trip here, actually, never been here before. Ian Smith invited me down, which is really kind of him. So we thought we'd check out this area of coastline, and we're at a place called Smogen, and it's absolutely stunning. All these red roof buildings, and there's a little iconic scene that you might have seen behind me there with these little different coloured fishing huts down in this bay here. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, we're just going to have a bit of an explore today. This is the first day. Maybe got up a little bit late this morning because I was travelling all day yesterday and it was a bit of a palaver to say the least. But got here all in one piece, ready to go, ready to get exploring. I'm here for a week, so we should get out and see some really nice stuff. But this is the first morning we've got out for a sunrise just to kind of check out the area, see what's going on. So I'm going to get a shot of this little scene down behind me here. Let's wait for this car to pass first. Yeah, I'm just going to get a scene of this little shot behind me here because it'd be a shame not to take it. And then out in front of me here, there's this lovely area of coastline with all these rocky outcrops. And the sunlight's just starting to kiss the top of them, which looks really quite nice. It's quite minimalist in a way, I think. So what I think I'll do is I'll get the filters out and I'll slow the shutter down and slow the water right down and give it that sort of ethereal look to the top of it, just to kind of simplify the scene a bit more. As I said, there's no real wave movement, so there's no point in actually trying to get any detail in the water. It's just a case of smoothing it out and making the scene as simple as possible for me, I think. And yeah, take it from there, have a bit of an explore and see how we go. Right, when I get my shot set up, I'll take you to the back of the camera and walk you through what I've got in front of me here. So yeah, so I've got my little scene set up here, and you can see there's lots of these rocky outcrops and the light just starting to kiss along the top of the rocks just down there. I've got this leading sort of, the boulders coming in from the left hand side here and also a bit from the right to try and balance the frame a little. And then my point of interest really is these illuminated rocks out there, and there's a little tiny lighthouse on one of them just out there. You probably struggle to see on the back of here. So what I'm trying to do is, I've got all this water out in front and obviously there's not a great deal of movement there. So I'm going to use a 10-stop filter, I think, slow the water right down and just try and smooth it out as much as possible. I think it'll be somewhere around 40-50 second exposure, somewhere around there, I think, as I say, just to simplify the scene as much as possible. Right, so with this little shot here with the fishing huts down in the bottom that I wanted to capture, obviously I've got a little bit of an issue now because I've left it a touch late and I've got the sun just come up the back of the hills there. So what I'm having to do is, I'm getting because the lens is kind of almost pointing towards the sun, I'm getting a lot of lens flare, so I'm having to deflect it with my hand quite a bit, just to make sure that I'm cutting out any of those sunspots that appear on your lens, flares. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a shot for the foreground and just deflecting it, and then I'm taking another shot for the sky, just a bit of a darker one, just to make sure I capture all the detail, which I'm sure I'll be okay with, but obviously when you travel this far you don't want to miss out on it. So I'm doing the same thing, just cupping my hand over the lens just to make sure my finger doesn't get in the shot, but I get rid of eliminate that lens flare there, and it's helping quite a bit. So if these couple of shots have turned out, I'll pop them up now and then we'll carry on exploring for the rest of the day and I'll get back to you later. so we've come back to the same sort of location as we were at this morning, because I wanted to get this shot of these boat houses in the back here. Really, really beautiful, but come further down, closer to the point, so I can kind of almost get like a 16:9 shot of it. So I'm just waiting for the sun to drop behind these sort of rock formations just behind us here to kind of illuminate them, because there was no direct light on them this morning. So it's a lot better sort of evening shot. But there's a couple of things I want to discuss with you about this shot actually. So what I'm going to do is take you to the back of the camera and show you exactly what I mean. So I'm hoping you can see the back of the screen okay from here. But what I've got is these boat houses along the back here. And as I say, I made it a 16:9 crop. The problem I've got, however, is just here. I've been doing a long exposure to try and flatten this water out as much as possible, because I was getting ripples, and it has settled down quite a bit now. But what I've actually had to do is there's a boat right in the middle of the frame. Now I was taking a long exposure and didn't take into consideration the fact that that boat was moving within the amount of time, because it was a 25-second exposure I was doing. So what I've actually done is I've taken a long exposure, which was obviously about 25 seconds, and then what I did is took the 6-stop filter back off and took a normal exposure at a 30th of a second to freeze that boat. And what I'll actually do is in post, I'll either paint that boat back in there just to stop the movement, because when I looked at it at the back of the screen, it looked really not great at all. So I'm going to redo that, paint that boat back into the scene, and I think it'll clean that scene up really, really nicely. Now when I was here earlier today, I took a shot with my mobile phone, and I wanted to try and replicate it with the bigger camera today. So what I did was actually I took a pano, obviously with the phone, and I want to try and get that to work with the bigger camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a series of shots right the way across this scene, because I really like the wide open scene that it gave me. I'm going to take it right back across, further across to the boardwalk over there, and see if it works. But I think it's probably going to take a good maybe 10 shots to get the shot I was after. We'll give that a bit of a try, and if that shot's worked, I'll pop it up now. So we've made our way over these rocks, over towards where there's a lighthouse on an island off in the distance. And we scouted this out earlier today, and we realised that when the sun sets over that direction, there's going to be some nice warm light that comes down over and it illuminates it quite nicely. So I'm just kind of having a little bit of a play around with this, and I think, again, I'm seeing this as more of a strip pano shot, and it's more because I don't really want too much of this foreground in it, and I'm trying to eliminate as much of the blank space in the sea as I possibly can. So making that strip pano is actually putting the island itself and the lighthouse and the distance in the centre of the frame, or more in the centre of the frame for me, and I think it feels more balanced. I'll bring you in again to the back of the camera and show you exactly what I mean. So yeah, just in here, just in this sort of centre of the frame there, I've got the island itself. I'll just try and turn that back on for you. So I've got that, yeah, the island's in the centre of the frame there. And as you can see, if I go into my settings and open that back up, you can see what that would look like as a standard 4x3. And there's way, way too much either sky in the shot, or there's too much of the sea in the bottom end of the photograph itself. So I'm going to bring that in as much as possible. I tried a 16:9, and that kind of works okay, but I just went even thinner into a 65:24, and that's just got rid of it even more. Now as the light fades, I'm hoping that the sky kind of gets a bit more colour, a bit more pastel colour in the back there. But as you can see, I haven't got a great deal going on in the lower section of the image now, and there's less of that sea getting in the way. Again, we've got a few ripples and waves acting on the top of the water there, so what I'm going to have to do is I've tried a 6-stop filter and it's not quite slow enough to get rid of all the movement, so I think I'll try a 10-stop filter just to eliminate as much as that as possible and just simplify the scene even more. But I think it should make a really, really nice shot, especially if this light continues the way it is. You can just see off in the distance there, the rocks are starting to glow. Well, as you can see, the light's fading really fast now. There's still colour in the sky behind me there, but it's just about gone. And where we were actually shooting across where the lighthouse is over beyond there, there's absolutely no light at all. But anyway, it's been a fantastic day. Got some nice images, I think. Hopefully you'll see them before I do. And if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you again on the next one. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.